Welcome into today's broadcast right here at Cog Hill Farm. Now, Peaches wouldn't let Nugget into the house for this episode, so here's Jason, Brooke, and our chicken master, Marycarl.
What is up, guys? This is another episode of the Cogcast podcast, and this is episode number 24.
You know how I know that?
How do you know that?
Because Michael Jordan's number was 23, and that's what last time.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember that?
I remember that now.
I
24.
Had to refresh your memory, didn't I?
Yes. We have a new look going on here. As y'all can see, we have we're in the same room, just a different wall. We got a much bigger table. We were doing the podcast from my computer desk that was made for one person, and we tried to shove 3 people in it.
It worked, but we were kind of cramped.
We were very cramped. So we bought us a dining room table.
Used off Craigslist.
That's right.
And I went and picked it up, and it's not the prettiest table in the world,
right?
But it works for us, and it gives us more room to spread out. And
it does. And it's a lot larger, and you won't have to see me get up anymore either, because all the equipment's on my side now.
You don't want me adjusting it.
It was on the other one, half it was on this side and half it was on that side, but now that's no longer the case. We got all that fixed. So this is the new look for us. I think we're gonna like this way better for sure.
I do too.
Just for us anyway.
Well, I'm already feeling like I'm not like this with you.
I know it. All of our legs can go under the table too. I think Marycarl was the only one that her legs were in the table.
Yeah, my feet were always tucked up under me.
Yeah, that's how mine was too.
We don't want to talk about that.
We don't want to talk about that. This is another episode of the Cogcast podcast. Like we said, this is episode number 24, and this is our Q&A and recap segment, and us just talking about what's going on here on the farm. And I'm going to tell y'all, the weather has been absolutely gorgeous the last few days.
I'm going to correct you.
What's that?
What's going on the farms?
Oh, that's right, on the farms.
Plural.
With an S.
With an
You
S.
got that right.
That's more than one.
We definitely got more than one going on right now.
I can feel it too.
Yeah,
the weather has been beautiful. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I had to put that S in for
the weather has been beautiful, and it is full-fledged, wide open, 100% azalea season here in Alabama.
It is. I think it's one of the best blooms we've ever had.
Yeah, it's more blooms on the azaleas than I can ever remember.
They're everywhere.
And they're huge.
They're huge. They're beautiful. It's just awesome. Maybe it's just maybe the weather. We had I don't think we had a super cold winter, honestly.
No, but we had a lot of water.
A ton of water.
And my mom is so proud of those azaleas. When she moved down here, which was a few years after we built our house, she said, "Do y'all mind if I plant a few azaleas?"
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, "No, you can plant whatever you want to." So she pretty much did all the work herself. As always, we were doing things that involve farm, and
right.
She would go and pick a few azaleas out at a time and put them where she wanted them and get them in the ground. And lo and behold, she spent all summer watering them because she never planted them at the right time. She always bought them when they were blooming, which is really the wrong time to plant.
You want to plant them in the fall if you can.
But she always needed to see the color of the bloom. Yeah. So she put them in the ground about now, which means next month, the month after, it's going to be hot.
Yep.
And they're going to need a lot of water.
Yep.
So she was constantly down there for the past, 13 years, I guess?
Yes.
Probably about how long they've been there with a hose. And now I feel like they're established enough where she can leave them alone. Maybe that's why they did so well.
Maybe it is.
She didn't give them that much attention last year.
That's right. She doesn't baby them like she used to.
But she did what she wanted to, and now we are reaping that beauty.
That's right. We are reaping that beauty because they are beautiful right now.
Marycarl, you like azaleas?
I do.
You actually picked a few blooms today to put in your flower press, didn't you?
I did.
Well, that tells me you like them.
That's right. And I bet they're going to press good.
Hopefully. They're kind of thin, so maybe they will.
I think they will.
Did you open it up to where it was flat like that, or did you just?
Really can't do that. You just have to put it in there. I wish I could open it up and like where you could see the center of it, but I don't think I can do that. It's too long.
The only thing I can say about azaleas is they don't bloom long enough.
Yeah.
No, they do not.
About 4 weeks and they're done.
If that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
Unless you get a double bloomer, but most of the time it's just 4 weeks, and that's about all you get.
Yeah, and then if you get a freeze, then you've zapped those off
That's right.
a little earlier than usual.
Yep.
Speaking of freeze, we had some cold weather this past week.
Yes, we were supposed to have gotten a freeze and a frost, but it got around 33, 34, so it did not drop that low for us, but Travis at Hoss Tools in South Georgia, he did get a frost.
Did he?
Yep, and then I think Wes and over there in Louisiana, his got kind of right at borderline, but Wes was okay, and I think Travis ended up skating by too. I think he ended up being okay too.
Well, we're in the middle, and we did well.
We did. I mean, I can't believe it, but we're still sopping wet. I mean, I got tomatoes and eggplants that are at least 2 foot high in the little bitty cells.
It looks
in
like
the seed trays.
Jungle in the
It
greenhouse.
does, and I know they're in a lot of stress, and so I've actually ordered me some more trays and some more seeds, tomato seeds, for a backup in case these don't do very well. But there's nothing I can do about it. I mean, the ground, I checked it today. There's no way I could plant in it. It's just super
rot.
saturated.
So you'd be better off taking a chance with them being in the trays
Yes.
than you would putting them in the ground knowing they're not going to
You might want to put them in those little round pots.
Yeah, I thought about transplanting
Yeah,
them
but
to a bigger...
that's 162 cell seed tray. I don't have 162 round pots.
I don't either.
But the good thing is that they'll be planted pretty darn deep, so they have a really good root system on them. Because I'm gonna plant them as deep as they are.
Well,
So-
let's hope that they make it until the ground dries out. We're supposed to have some rain on Thursday,
Yeah.
but I think that's not as much rain as what we've had in the past
Right.
couple of weeks. And if we can get by without that much rain, maybe it'll start drying out some.
I mean, we didn't have a rain gauge, but I think we had some around 10 inches of rain.
It's been a
Yeah.
lot of rain.
And we had the one huge, we've had what do we have, 4 major storm systems come through. All 4 produced tornadoes.
Major rain producers, too.
Major
Flooding.
rain. And one of them was bad for us. We got, I think it was 6 inches of rain within an hour to 2 hour period. And that's what really did us in. It blew out the driveway in some spots, and it washed the garden pretty good. So
I'll tell you what, though.
There's nothing I can do about it.
My big tractor fixed that road in record time.
It did. That
I was so thankful to have it.
That 6 foot box blade was the ticket.
And I will toot my own horn for a minute. And I didn't think I could get the box blade back on by myself because it's a 3-point system.
Right.
And it takes some finagling to get it on there. It's usually me and Jason required to put it back on.
Right.
I got it on by myself. He was at work, and I knew the driveway needed to be fixed. And I said, well, I'll give it a shot and see what happens. And I got it on.
That's right.
So
was
good for me.
I was very proud of you because it is a pain.
Yeah.
To do it.
And I was able to get the road fixed. So thankful for that.
Thankful for that.
Just no more big rain, please. I need my road to stay passable for a little bit.
And we hadn't had a wash since
I don't
a
even want to talk about it.
long time.
Our
It's been
driveway has not
3 years plus.
has not had any problems
None.
in at least 3 years.
At least 3 years. It may be even longer
but
than
when
that.
you have rain like that,
There's
there-
nothing you can do.
there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
Everybody has a problem.
Yeah. We had several friends that had
Yeah.
washes.
So it
and
wasn't,
stuff, so-
it's not like it's secluded to us. It was
Right.
just a freak thing, and
Yep.
we'll get over it. We'll get by it.
Honestly, I'm guessing that I won't say we've had 3 times since we've been here that's had that kind of super rain. We had the one where the bridge blew out.
Right.
Then we had tropical storm
That's true.
that created the sinkhole.
Yeah.
And then this one. So we've been here for 17 years.
Yeah.
And so that's their 3 major weather things. So it's not too bad.
Not too bad.
Not too bad.
I mean, everybody has different issues, and I feel fortunate to still have a roof over my head.
That's right. That's right.
All right, Marycarl wants to answer a few questions. She actually printed off what she wanted to answer by herself. So you give it a start.
do silkies have feathers in between their toes?
Mm-hmm.
No, they don't have them in between their toes, just on their legs. Like, let's say
Like their ankles, isn't it?
Yeah, this is its leg. It's going to be right there. But not in between their toes, just on the side of their leg.
Got you.
And while she's holding up her hands, I want to tell you something. This ring has no meaning except for it is a fern, a pressed fern that is in resin that an 11-year-old likes to wear. It has no meaning whatsoever. She doesn't even know boys.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know what I mean.
Right.
She it's just something she likes. So I just thought I'd throw that out there while I'm getting some questions about why is she wearing a ring on her left hand. Left hand has no resemblance. It's an open finger. So.
It's a ring finger.
So silkies don't have feathers in between their toes.
Just on their legs and ankles.
All right.
Yeah.
Just right on top of their feet area, right?
Yeah, sometimes they'll get like a one little feather beside their toenail, but that's it.
That's it.
It's not like they're covered in between.
Gotcha.
No.
Huh. All
They
right.
did that, you might have some nasty feet.
You might. That's the truth.
Now, this one I got asked a lot on in that video, and I said it in the video, but maybe people just don't catch my southern accent. And I answer this question a lot too, but about the app that we use, or that you use a lot of, it's called Picture This.
Yes.
Marycarl said you stole her thunder.
I didn't know she knew the answer to that
She
one or not.
knew the
I did.
answer.
Okay. But I just had so many people, and I bet I've typed that 20 times, but it's called Picture This.
Marycarl, what else does Picture This offer?
A picture mushroom,
Mm-hmm.
picture bird, picture fish.
Picture animal,
Yeah.
Picture insect.
Pet.
picture plant. That's what you use.
Yes.
Yeah, Picture This is the
Picture
plant
this.
one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's all one word. Picture
Yeah.
This, it's all one
It
word.
probably come up anyway.
But she uses my phone. She doesn't have her own personal phone. She doesn't need a phone.
Right.
She's 11. She has no boyfriend. So, but she loves to use that app.
Yes.
Because it's so accurate.
Yes, and like I'll do some plant that really I would not think the thing would know, and it will do it. So it's not the best on orchids.
It's not the best on mushrooms either.
No.
Well, there are times when I'm a member of this thing called Alabama Gardeners, and there multiple times a day there will be pictures of plants, and it says, "Can anybody tell me what this is?" And I want to say so bad, if you had that app, you know, you could know instantly, and you wouldn't have to wait on an answer.
Yep.
Does it cost money for that app?
No, it doesn't, but it does have this thing. It's like unlimited. But it really doesn't matter because it is unlimited anyway.
It's free, but there's ads on it, and there's
Yeah.
also extra stuff that you can get if you pay for it.
Yeah.
But we don't pay for it.
We don't pay for it. And then there's an ad that I can't get off. I have to throw it off, open it back up, and it doesn't give me an option to dismiss it. And it says, go ahead and pay the thing. And you have to do it about 3 times, and then it comes up regular.
I figured out how to do that.
How?
You press continue, and then you wait a second, and there's an X that pops up.
Okay. Because that's what I just kept throwing it off. About the 3rd time, it goes away. So that's what I did.
Well, I've never used it.
You have never used it?
No.
Huh.
I've never used
I
it.
thought
There's
you gotta
like
use it just
500 things on there.
You
on
know
your
why I've
phone.
never used it?
Why? You don't have to?
There's never a time when my sidekick is not with me.
Okay.
So if there's something in question, then she's going to take care of
I
it
got
for
you.
me.
Well, that makes sense.
She's kind of like my assistant. She's my daughter, but she's my assistant. All right, what's your next question, Marycarl?
What age do cockerels get spurs? That's a good question because I don't know. It really depends on the
Yeah,
chicken.
it probably depends on the breed.
Yeah, I don't
Not
think there's a certain
necessarily
age.
the breed, the chicken.
Yeah,
Like Corny, he got his spurs real early. The hens even get spurs. My
Yeah.
Polishes, they are hens. Their spurs are this long.
And it's because they're a heritage breed,
a lot
right?
of times the heritage breeds that have the spurs, yeah.
It kind of tickles me when I see a hen with spurs.
Oh, it's so funny. Those Polishes, their spurs look like they could kill another chicken, but they're actually scared of the other chickens.
Yeah.
So there is not really a set answer for when a
No.
rooster will get spurs. They have little studs on the back of their
Yeah, they'll have little
legs
studs.
when they start getting a little bit of maturity on them. But as for full-fledged spurs, I don't think there is a certain age.
And you cannot tell the gender of a chick by looking at their legs and see if they're spurs.
That's right. You can't tell that because all of them have little bumps.
Yeah, I tried to do that, and I was like...
Didn't work.
When you were 2?
Yeah.
Didn't work.
It didn't work, did it?
No, because I'd got a bunch of pullets, and they all had little...
Bumps on the back of their legs.
Especially some of your heritage breeds, they'll have them anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
So I guess it's just like, teenage boys mature at a different age, and I guess that's the same with that. Roosters are going to mature at different ages, just like a human does.
I agree.
And therefore, their spurs will develop when they're ready.
And generally, their spurs are not going to look menacing until they're probably a year old, in my opinion.
Or even older, because I was looking at ACDC today, who's over a year old, and his spurs are not much to him.
Yeah, it takes them a little while to do get some shown
And
up
it just depends on the breed.
Yeah.
We used to have this little Cochin, and he was really, really, really old. He was like one of your first chickens, because I was really little, and eventually he just passed away because he was so old. But his spurs were this long, and they were curled up.
Huh.
Do you remember him?
That
What was
silver
his name?
phoenix we had big spurs.
Yes,
too.
it was him, and then that little tiny Cochin.
Can't remember.
Well, I think it has a lot to do with the breed, too. Some breeds of chicken just have bigger spurs in general than others. Rod had long spurs.
Yeah,
Yes,
he did. Have long
did.
spurs.
But he was a pretty old chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. All right, Marycarl, is there such thing as a sizzle duck?
There's not a sizzle duck, but there is a silky duck.
And you just found that out recently, didn't you?
No, I've known it for a while.
Well, you found somewhere that had them.
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
like some.
she came running to me. Mama, I've got to have some of these. Look, just look, Mama. Look. And it was what was it?
A silky duck.
A silky
It
duck.
looks like a call duck, which is a miniature duck, with silky feathers.
And she found that they did sell. Did
But
they sell?
didn't. They
didn't have any.
No, they wouldn't. They don't have any more.
They lost their breeding pair.
Yeah.
Well, that busted your bubble, didn't it?
Yeah.
I would think that there was be some type of gene mutation where you could have a sizzle duck.
I would think so too.
Just.
Oh, you got our wheels turning now.
No, I mean, if you bred it enough, you would think at some point that flipped out feather could show up.
There is one thing called wet feather, and that's where their oil gland doesn't work.
And that's not correct.
That's yeah.
But that doesn't really have anything to do with this.
I got you.
All right, here's a question for us.
Uh-huh.
What about the outside dogs?
Yep.
Do you think they're going to stay on the new property?
Yeah, I do. I don't think there's going
It's
to be
fenced
issues.
in too.
It is fenced in, but I don't think they would. It's 40 acres. I mean, we got 7.5 acres here, and then they don't
stay
go
here.
and they pretty much stay here now. So I don't foresee them.
Oh, and our little dogs, they don't have free range to the property.
Yeah.
Now, they
No.
would not stay here
Right.
No.
because when they get out, well, no, take that back. I shouldn't say it like that. There are times when our Pomeranian, then the
Gidget.
door gets cracked and she goes, "Pew," and you think you're never going to see her again as
Right.
long as there's life on earth. And just
She'll see the geese, and she'll be like, oh my gosh. there's
she's
something
so
right there.
high strung.
But then she'll be like, nah, I'm not going to chase them.
It's
she'll
almost
come
like she just
back.
does what she wants to, takes a big circle, comes back, and then she's back in the house, and she's like, I did what I wanted to do, and now I'm back.
Now I'm back.
And then the other day, Arlo, which is the schnauzer, and Gidget got out. And Arlo
They
come
went two different
running back,
directions.
and then Gidget took a long time. She took like 15 minutes.
And he was shaking, looking at her like she's not going to come back. I just know she's not going to come back. But they eventually both came back, and it wasn't very long. But anyway, we will have those in a fence.
Yes, they'll have a backyard.
Yeah.
They'll have a fenced-in area, not the full 40 acres. We just can't risk them getting snake bit or,
Right.
just they're just not the kind of dog that needs to roam.
Yep.
How do you treat baby chicks with wry neck? We use a thing called poultry cell. I've never actually used it on baby chicks, but that's what we use.
Yeah, poultry cell. You can just add it to the water.
You can add it to their
Yeah.
water, or if they're in bad enough shape, you can actually use the dropper and put a little bit in their mouth. But you have to be very careful that
Yep.
they swallow and you don't put too much in their mouth because
Yeah,
they
because
can.
it could aspirate them or drown them.
Yep.
And that
Yep.
means that it goes into their lungs instead of in their
Yeah.
crop.
And you can find that anywhere. And it's made by Rooster Booster.
Yeah.
And any
I've seen it on
co-op,
Amazon.
Tractor Supply, your co-ops, feed stores, most everybody carries that because it's very common.
Yeah.
And just because it's called Rooster Booster,
Yeah.
that doesn't mean anything.
Right.
It's
That's a
just,
brand. They
Yeah.
like make stuff for goats and sheep and cows.
It's Ryeneck is a vitamin deficiency more times than none,
Mm-hmm.
and therefore they need selenium immediately. They need vitamin E
I think so.
I think so.
Yep.
And iron.
and
Got
iron,
it.
and all of those things are
Yep.
in that. There are other vitamins that they could be deficient in as well, but the Poultry Cell Rooster Booster has all those things in it, and I recommend that if you have chickens, you should keep that on hand.
Yes.
Yes.
Not specifically for Ryeneck, but for any illness. It can help them just like we do. When we get sick, we're prone to take extra vitamin C to help our immune system along. Well, if your chicken's sick and you add that to their water, it'll give them a little boost.
The average lifespan of a chicken, which is one of our questions,
Mm-hmm.
the average lifespan of a chicken is about 7 years.
And breeds make a difference there too.
Yes.
And how it's cared for.
Yeah, that's true too.
A free-range chicken obviously is not going to have a life as Peony did because she lived in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's just so many variables that can happen with a free range chicken.
Right.
Yeah.
Fox could get it, a hawk could get it, it could eat something poisonous.
There's
this,
so
that, and
many
this, that.
variables.
Providing ultimate health,
Yeah.
providing ultimate conditions that it's raised under about 7 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it could be more than that.
Could be
it
more
could
than
be
that.
less than that, but that's your average. Okay, Marycarl wants to leave.
Okay.
And so Jason and I will stay and answer
More questions?
more questions. Thank you, Marycarl. Jason, this one's for you.
Okay.
How do I give a rating?
Oh, I guess they're talking about the podcast. There's if you watch this podcast via YouTube, really the only thing you can do is just give us a thumbs up. I mean, that's about it. If you listen to this podcast via iTunes on Apple or Stitcher or TuneIn Radio or any of those things, there's stars just like you would rate something on Amazon. And so give us 5 stars if you listen to it. But if you watch it on YouTube, about all you can do is give us a thumbs up. And commenting helps too on either or. If you watch on YouTube, comment helps. And if you're listening to it on your favorite podcast app, commenting on it helps too. And that helps boost us too.
Okay.
Yep.
This question's for me.
Okay.
How did I learn to drive tractors so well?
Ooh.
You think I drive a tractor well?
I do think you drive a tractor well.
Well, I wasn't born knowing how to drive a tractor.
No.
But I will say that I learned how to drive a 5-speed at an early age.
Mm-hmm.
My first car was a 5-speed,
Mm-hmm.
and I always felt like I could drive anything. I don't care if it's a dump truck.
Right.
I've never been intimidated by driving anything. And when we built our house, our driveway goes down a fairly steep hill, and we had a lot of work that needed to be done.
Yes.
And Jason's dad had an old John Deere. Do you remember what that model was?
I cannot remember what model it was. Anyway,
30A?
and it was an old highway. He bought it from the
state.
the state of Georgia Transportation Department is where it came from.
But it was a big old tractor. I mean, it was big.
Yeah.
And I had never drove a tractor before. And he didn't really show me too much. He just kind of put me on it.
Yeah.
And I just kind of piddled around for a long time before I piddled around pulling logs, hooking chains up and pulling them out of the way and just doing odd things, scraping the driveway with a box blade. And it didn't have a front end loader on it.
I tell you, the thing I remember you doing the most of and learning is where our house is, the house site.
Yeah.
And we wanted to get it more level than what it was. And so he put you on that with a box blade, and you just went round and round.
I did.
Round and round.
But you know what happened with that round and round?
What?
Do you remember? we thought we had it level.
Yeah.
According to our eye.
Yeah.
And then when the guys came out to lay the blocks, they pulled strings, and we ended up being 6 foot in the front and 1 foot in the back.
Well, you remember though, we had a guy from a construction site come shoot it.
And he said it was level.
No, he set the. I can't remember how it was, but anyways, he's the one. We knew it was still going to be graded. And he set the.
Well, I'm glad it was that way now
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I can't imagine our house being flat. It needed to be elevated.
Yeah, because we're on this hill. There's no way you could have done it.
It looks better the way it is
does
now.
look better the way it is now.
But that's kind of how I got started as to driving tractors, and it was not a hydrostatic transmission because it was a very old tractor.
It was an old tractor.
It was in the 50s, wasn't it?
Oh, gosh, I can't remember.
50s or 60s. Big old tractor.
Yeah, it was
And
heavy.
It didn't have a cap on the smokestack, so I had to put a cup on the top of it to prevent
That's
condensation from getting down in it. And a lot of times the battery wouldn't connect right, so I'd have to, jump it off. And
it had a battery drain on it, and I could not figure out why, because it didn't have any electronics on it. But if you didn't unplug that battery and you didn't use it for a week or so,
if you forgot to unplug the battery, then you were going to have to jump it
you was
off.
going to jump it off. It was really strange.
But we had that for a long time until we bought our first little tractor in 2007.
Okay.
So we had been here 3 years and used the old John Deere for that long. And then when we bought that tractor, Jason's dad gave us the option to keep that one.
Yes.
And we told him to no, we don't really need it anymore. We appreciate it. And he took it back with him. So served its purpose.
It did serve its purpose.
So that's kind of how I learned how. But I still feel confident enough to where I could drive anything.
Yeah, you do.
I back up trailer, and that's how I learned to back up a trailer.
Yeah.
I'd never pulled a trailer in my life, but when we built this house, I had to learn to do some things real quick. Jason was at work, and, I was kind of the foreman over it, I guess you would say.
Yeah, that's right.
And your dad helped us a lot, but he still worked a full-time job, so there was a lot of times that I just had to hook up a trailer and back it up, and I
Figure
better
it out.
learn how.
Better learn how.
I learned quick.
Yep.
All right. Was there a home on the property, or where did the former live?
I guess they're talking about the new one, the new property. Yeah. There was a home there. It was a mobile home. So there is power, water, and a septic tank there. But he hasn't been there in 4 years. And I think they moved somewhere else, I think. I can't remember.
But he passed away.
But I thought he had moved before he passed away.
I don't think so.
Anyways, the trailer's not there anymore.
No,
Yeah.
but that's what was there.
Yeah.
And you can tell when you're looking at where our camper is sitting on the property that's where he had his camper sitting. And then there's another place where we're going to be doing some work in the near future, and that is where his mobile home's at.
Yes.
Not necessarily where we'll build our house. But,
No.
we plan to get a little camper site going there and make
That's
it
right.
more efficient for us.
And clean it up some more, because it's just got a lot of overgrowth and trees coming up everywhere.
Jason, will we be able to get internet at the new place?
We will be able to get internet at the new place. We're super excited about the internet. We don't have good internet here where we are now.
First of all, where we will be moving is more rural than this.
It is more rural than we are now, very much so.
So you would think that would mean that we would probably not have access to internet, and there is not access to internet currently.
Not we could do what we're doing now, which is wireless internet, and we're using Pine Belt Wireless now, and it does,
It serves its purpose.
Our biggest problem was we're in a hole and there's a forest around us, so that really does regulate the signal coming into our place now, because we have terrible cell service where we are now. We used to have AT&T DSL here, and it was worse than what we got now.
Yeah,
what we got now is slow.
We made a switch to the Pine Belt, and it works off towers, and it's pretty slow.
Yeah, we have good days, bad days. That's why we can't do live. I think a lot of people have asked us, "Why don't y'all do live?" We're
gonna be doing some live when we get over to the rural area.
Our new place is coming. It's a company. I forget what it's called. Do you remember what it's called?
What, the power?
Yeah,
Central Alabama Electric Co-op.
I get, but is that
Broad Spectrum Internet.
That's it. Broad Spectrum Internet. They are doing a statewide from the top all the way down through, and they're providing internet to rural areas that don't have internet, and it is fiber optic, and we can get up to 1 gigabyte speed.
Which means nothing to me, but I can see the smile on Jason's face, which tells me it's going to be good. We've already signed up for it.
Yes.
Because we had to turn on the power at the new place in order to have power for our camper.
Right.
And in doing that, I asked, well, what about the internet? And they said, well, it's not quite there yet. The wires are there. However, we are not to the stage of hooking up yet.
Yes.
And it should be the third quarter. Is that what they told me? Or second quarter?
I think they told you the third. It was going to be in the summertime.
In the summertime. Yeah. But hey.
We'll take it.
I am on it. I mean, I am registered. I'm signed up. I'm letting them know that as soon as it's available, I'm going to subscribe. We can spend the night at the land and upload a video.
Yeah, because uploading the videos is the main thing. Now, I can upload a video here, and it usually takes about 3 hours on a good day.
Jason can put the video in the computer and go to bed that night. And
that's normally what I do.
The next day it'll be uploaded.
And 90% of the time it works, but 10% of the time it don't work, and then it's an issue at that point.
It is.
Yep.
It's a pouty face.
It's just frustrating. We have internet issues.
Okay, now that you've done bush hogging, are you planning to test the soil? And what is your next project on the property?
We talked about it today. We're going to test the soil. Hopefully, maybe get the kits this week and send it off.
The kits this week, providing they're not all out and everybody hadn't tested their own soil. That's our plan for this next weekend.
That's our plan, and we should be okay because generally people test in the fall, so we should be okay on that. We shouldn't be like some big backup because people are already planting their gardens. So we should be okay.
Yeah, we just want to know for future planning what we need to do to amend to make it.
Yeah, what we need to do. Are we low in pH? Are we high? Are we a lot of nitrogen? That's the main thing that we want to know.
But I will tell you this: we rode over today and we looked at the bush hogging that we had done.
Yeah,
and there's green grass coming back.
Yep. From
where we bush hogged, and the dirt looks wonderful.
The dirt looks good. I'm impressed.
A visual from dirt doesn't mean a thing.
Doesn't mean a thing. But it looks good. It's got a dark brown color to it. It's not a bunch of red. It's not all sand. So it looked sandy loam to me from looking at it. But hopefully it's okay.
Since somebody's asking, I want to ask too. What's the next thing we're going to do?
I'm guessing just continuing to clean up. I mean, we have so much that needs to be cleaned up. There's so much underbrush. We even talked about maybe hiring one of those people that has the machine that just kind of grinds down through there.
A mulching machine. There's a lot of privet. And the privet is not very big at the top. However, the root system on privet can get kind of nasty.
And there's a lot of privet that's in the forest area that you can't get the tractor in there. They're either going to have to cut with a saw or hire somebody to come in and
my thing about cutting it with a saw is it's going to come back just like this.
Yeah, it could come back.
You know? Yeah. It could come back. It's going to come back. It's going to come back. And I want it to be gone and see it no more.
Right.
You know, and that mulching is good for your soil too.
It is good for the soil.
Once they, incorporate it back in. And then we also talked about today that we might go over next weekend and we might do some tilling. Yep.
We're going to check the soil out, do some tilling because we're going to just play around. We have a ton of watermelon seeds. I can't plant watermelons here. I don't have enough room. We're in a giant pumpkin contest with Hoss Tools and 4 Kids in the Farm and Deep South Homestead.
Do they have theirs in the ground already?
I see that they got them in seed trays already, but I'm not going to plant mine in seed trays. I'm going to direct seed. My watermelons and pumpkins do so well just direct seeding. And honestly, I'm just putting these at our new place. I'm not going to be there every day, so I can't baby them and that kind of stuff. So we're just going to just see what happens.
Well, and we also want to experiment with the critters that may roam the property. And
deer meaning the main one.
And raccoons.
Raccoons. We could get into watermelons.
The property's pretty fenced in. That doesn't mean anything to a deer. They just hop right over a fence. But we're wondering if we need to fence within the fence, because here our property is not fenced.
No, it's not fenced in here.
It's not fenced in, and therefore, our garden's fenced. And our garden is fenced to keep our animals out more so than anything.
More so than deer.
But we don't know if we will have to fence in the garden over there.
Right.
So this is kind of going to be an experiment too.
Yes.
We may plant those seeds, and as soon as those sprouts come up, the deer say, nom, 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 nom.
Or when the fruit come on and they just go over there and just hit it with a hoof and
That's
eat all the
right.
stuff out of it. So
But if that's the case, then we're feeding deer.
yeah, we're feeding deer.
I'm not going to pout about it because this is an experiment.
No, this is an experiment. It'll be fun. And Marycarl's excited. So,
She is. She is.
Plus, we'll get to try out the new tiller and see how it works and see what the soil looks like. And
You're going to
all
need
that
your
good
own
stuff.
tractor.
Yeah, I know.
I never thought about you're going to take my tractor while you're tilling, then I'm going to not be able to do anything else.
Get me a plow and a disc and
You do it by hand, right?
yeah, do it by hand.
Those Hall's tools come in handy,
They
right?
do come in handy.
What do we do about hawks?
Right now, nothing. We have a hawk. I guess hawk is our biggest predator, but they don't get that many of our chickens.
It's almost like we have a hawk season,
Yeah.
and that's not for hunting them. It's for them hunting us,
yeah,
our animals.
Yeah,
We just about know when that time of the year. Right now,
Yeah.
hawks are few and far between.
That's
They're
right.
just not hardly in existence. We'll see them flying over, but they're not swooping down after our chickens like they are in the end of the winter.
yeah. Around the fall, yeah, it kind of starts in the fall, I guess, because they're having their babies in, and then in through the winter, they're having babies, and food is scarce. So that the chickens are easy targets.
That's right. And we know that. And if we see hawks in abundance, we will keep them locked up for
Yeah,
a bit.
we will.
Because if they realize that that's an easy prey item for them,
They'll keep
and
coming
they get
back.
a chicken, then they're not going to stop with one.
Right.
They'll continue to
Right.
come back. But as for, controlling them, there really isn't any controlling them. Our dogs, our guardian dogs,
Yep.
they can't do too much about it. You
Yep.
know, if they, and the thing that makes me so angry about a hawk is it's not like they consume the whole animal.
Yeah, the hawk doesn't eat very much of the animal at all.
And it just, that part, I just want to say, look, if you're going to take a life, then take full advantage of
Yeah.
it. But they don't listen to me.
Well, most of the time, our biggest one is the red shoulder hawk, and the chicken's bigger than they are.
Yeah, and they will consume literally one bite out of
Yeah.
the animal and then leave the rest of it.
Yeah.
And you're just like,
Yeah, you're right.
wow, was that really worth it?
Yep.
Was it really worth
Was it
it?
really worth it?
Now, if we have a fox problem, we have had a fox problem in the past, the animal totally disappears.
Yeah, the fox takes the whole animal because
Takes
she's
it
taking
back
it
to
back
the-
to her cubs.
And sometimes we'll see a pile of feathers
Yep.
where there has been a struggle, and we know that was a fox.
Yeah, we know that's a fox.
There was one time many years ago when we knew we had a fox problem, and I borrowed a extra large trap from someone that I know, and we baited it the way we were told. It was actually with tuna fish or cat food or something, and it was just, it wasn't a trap that was going to endanger anything. We were going to relocate the fox if we caught it.
Mm-hmm.
We knew fox was going to be almost impossible to catch.
That's
but
what
hey,
I've heard. They're
you
so
know,
smart.
we knew we had a fox coming every single day.
Yep.
And we knew nothing else to do but to try to trap the fox. So we go onto the property that's beside us that actually doesn't belong to us, but it's where the fox was coming in.
Mm-hmm.
We have permission to put the trap on the land, and we would go down every morning and check to make sure, we would just,
Yeah.
praying that we had caught the fox. We caught the fox. We caught the fox.
We caught the fox.
We caught the fox, all right. It was
the
a
wrong
big
one.
white fox, and it was this fox had a big long white tail, and this big long white tail was going just like this, and it was always so happy because it got this big nice can of cat food in its trap,
Or tuna fish.
and it was our Great Pyrenees. Her
Foxy.
name is Foxy,
Yep. That's why we named her Foxy.
And you
Because we
would-
got her to help with foxes.
and you would think, we had a big fox problem
We had a
when
big
we got
fox
Foxy.
problem when we got her.
You would think after being trapped more than one time that she would have quit.
No.
Well, I think after we trapped her 3 times, we decided it
stopped.
wasn't going to work.
Yep.
But
We stopped.
she was never hurt. It was
No.
the
It's
door.
a live trap.
It was a big live.
It was a
trap,
big
too.
live trap.
The door would shut behind her, and she had room enough to turn around and twist
Yep.
around, and she was just twisting. I got my cat food again. Thank y'all for feeding me in this box.
Yep. It was actually made for a dog, that live trap was.
It was. that was kind of comical because we would be like, "Oh, Foxy."
It is funny.
It is funny. Have we thought about a prefabricated cabin?
Yeah, we've thought about a bunch of stuff.
I don't know if there's many things we hadn't thought of.
Yeah. We've thought, or I think our hearts are set on the barn dominiums, which is the metal pole barn style houses, but we have thought about the prefab cabins. We even talked here recently about prefab log cabin.
Yeah, Marycarl and I watch a show, and it's in Alaska, and one of the people on there lives in a cabin, and she asked me, "Is there any possibility we might build a log cabin?" And I do know that there's a lot of maintenance that's involved in a log cabin, a true log cabin.
Yeah, true log cabin.
I don't know that that's something that we would want to become involved in, because
Especially as we got older.
Yeah, we're trying to kind of get out of the maintenance
Yeah,
thing.
we are.
I mean, our house is built from hardy plank siding. It's pretty maintenance free.
Yeah.
Our roof is metal. That's maintenance free.
Yep.
But we have stairs that, are.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, there are some things that we want to do different.
Staining and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
there's I just don't care about porches anymore. Yeah, porches are beautiful.
Yep.
The main thing with our house when we built was we wanted a wrap around porch.
Yep.
We wanted a porch that went entirely around the whole house. We got it.
We got it.
We don't use it.
We do. We really don't use it as much as we thought we would.
Nowadays, I'm wishing that we had more square foot instead of the porches.
Yep.
But, live and learn.
And I can tell you the wraparound porch is absolutely gorgeous.
It is.
But we never stop.
We never stop. We don't sit down to enjoy the porch.
So we don't. Yeah. So we never sit down and enjoy the porch.
And my mom's got a porch on the front of her house. However, it doesn't go all the way around.
Yeah.
But she never uses the front porch.
she uses
has a
that.
screened-in porch on the back side of her house, and she loves it.
Yep. She loves the screen-in back porch, and we've always wanted a screen-in back porch.
And her number one thing is when we build her place at the new place, she has to have a screen-in porch.
Has to have a screen-in
She doesn't
porch.
care about anything else, but she has to have a screened-in porch.
Yep.
So we're thinking about just putting her bed in a screened-in porch.
Get her one of the ones that hang.
Yeah, you think she'd like that?
She probably would.
Her and Sassy Man
Her and Sassy Man.
can live in the swing on the porch.
And Sassy Man is doing wonderfully.
He is her pride and joy.
We keep saying we're going to put him in the videos.
He's so fast. Every time I
and he
think,
stays in your mom's house all the time.
yeah, we just
and
don't want to go
Yeah.
intrude and say, hey, we got a video right now.
Right.
So he's doing well. He's
nothing. I mean, he's crazy.
He and Mort.
Full-fledged kitten.
He and Mort, who is our barn cat,
Yep.
who now resides most of the time at my mom's house, are BFFs, and that means best friends forever.
Yes.
For those of you
They're
that don't
like
realize that.
This.
And they're both males.
Which is odd.
Mort really doesn't care for any other cats.
He
He doesn't
zero.
act ugly.
No.
He just shows no interest in anybody else. He's always been a loner.
Yeah.
But now Mama says, I wish y'all could come over and see Sassy Man and Mort playing. It is hilarious. And says that they are just inseparable.
It's funny. It's funny because Mort never paid Pink or
No, they
Tucker
would look at
attention.
each other and kind of go,
yeah,
and
he
then go
ain't
the
care nothing
opposite
about
way.
him. He care
But
nothing
now,
about him.
I mean, he has a BFF.
Yep.
I think it's wonderful. Mort meets Sassy Man.
Mort and Sassy Man.
Okay.
Oh, let's see here. What animals do we intend to put up in the barn that's on the property, if any, or is that going to be for equipment? Now we've talked about this a lot.
What's that?
The barn. Are we going to use it for animals? I mean, even today we even just today we even discussed that. I think we're going to use it for equipment.
I think so too, because the more we think about it, the more
It's not in a bad location. It's in a good location.
Not going to be close to where we build more than likely.
Yeah.
It kind of goes down. All right. So we don't want our house to be going down.
Right.
We want our house on the high side. And to put the animals where we are not, to me, is not a good idea.
Yeah.
We want to be closer to the animals so that we
Right.
can get to them. I
Right.
mean, you don't, they always need attention, but you just don't know what could happen
That's
that
right.
you need to be there in a moment's notice.
So we're thinking today that we're probably going to build us another pole barn
Yeah.
for the animals
Maybe
closer to us.
Yeah, if we do a barn dominium, something that would kind of go with that style.
Yeah.
Not that we don't love our little quirky buildings, and a lot of questions have been asked about taking our buildings with us.
Yes.
Y'all, we live on a driveway that goes like this.
And a bunch of trees overhanging. There's
And there's without having a lot of trees taken
Cut.
down,
Yep.
there's no way you can get to those buildings.
And two, our driveway, we got a gate.
We do have a gate.
And this guy,
It's only 12 foot wide.
yeah, I just can't see it where it happening. or they can't. Now, we have talked about maybe taking, we call it the sweet shop. It's my garden shed. We
I
may
can move
take
that
it.
sweet shop. I can move it.
It got brought down here on a rollback.
Yeah, I feel like we can pick
So
it
I
up.
think we can get that moved if we wanted to.
Maybe the
and
brooder.
the little brooder, because it's only 8x8.
Yeah, I'm thinking both of those, but I'm thinking the barn's going to stay, the chicken coop's going to stay. I think that our little gazebo with the sinks under it, we can take with us.
Yeah, the little gazebo can go.
And as a matter of fact, we took something over there today.
Yeah, we did take some over there.
But just because we're so eager to get moving and we want to see.
It wasn't nothing that was put together.
Oh, no, it wasn't a building. It was just something that's been sitting for a long time. Y'all will see that this week on the video.
That's right.
But let me tell you something funny. When we first had this vision, well, first of all, you might have to reset this camera because I might be long-winded on this. When we first started this vision, a lot of people have asked me what my mom thinks about this moving business. Well, she's actually the one that came to us and told us that if we ever wanted to move to, ever thought about buying any land or moving somewhere that involves some land or going somewhere different, she's all for it. She said, don't let me be in your way. Don't let me stop you because I'm game. I'll go anywhere y'all go. So just to clarify that, we're not uprooting her.
No.
She kind of put the ball rolling.
Right.
And then, we thought, well, that is kind of a option that we have never really even considered.
Right.
Because Marycarl was in school, first of all. We didn't want to take her away from her school. She's homeschooled now.
Yes.
We have no ties, no strings attached. And so we started looking, and that's when that happened. But when we first started talking about what we would want to build if we left here, do you remember what my first suggestion that we do was?
No.
Build, I didn't know what a barn dominium was.
Right.
But I wanted to build a 2-story barn and have all the animals below us.
Oh, I was right. Yes. And I think that's when we found the barnuminiums.
And I was just gung-ho. I was like, the goats can have stalls on the bottom and the chickens can have, Marycarl would never sleep in the house again. She'd be down there from, forever. And we would live on the top.
Yep.
And the more I read, the more I realized that no matter how clean your house is, that animal smell's coming inside your house. And I said, I'm not like an expert housekeeper or anything, but I don't want to smell a goat in my house.
Right.
So that idea kind of went out the window. But I think back on that now, thinking that I wanted to live with my animals.
Yep.
And that's berserk.
You weren't thinking about the smell, especially the bugs.
Well, it just never crossed my mind. I thought I want to be with the animals, and what a better way than to live on top of them.
That's true. Because, we really were thinking about that.
We were.
Yeah.
When I mentioned it to you, you were like, oh, that's awesome. And I don't even know that I ever told Marycarl because she would have started building it by herself. But
yeah. Well, I told you that I loved if we built a barn because I like the way the barn looks with the house, it being the house on the top because we've seen them before and I like that.
I just thought the goats and the chickens and Nugget and everybody can live below us. And we just go up a little set of stairs to our, living quarters and come down. We take care of the animals. I guess we could do that and have the barn next door to us.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Have
the barn really close
just
by.
in the vicinity, maybe not like a garage close,
right?
But in the vicinity,
very close by though. Yeah, I agree.
But when I think back on that, I think it's kind of funny. Me thinking I wanted the animals to be in the same house with me. Basically,
that is funny.
Reckon what insurance would say?
I don't know.
My first story is gonna be 7 goats.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I wonder what the insurance inspector would say when he came to.
He probably would thought he was at Dr. Doolittle's house, right?
Especially if Scott
Cog
starts
Hill.
hollering and the emu nugget walks
I
up.
wasn't considering a rooster crowing or anything like that, but I guess that'd just be kind of common nature for us.
Yeah, it would be.
Or dogs barking or
Dogs
whatever.
barking, yeah, we're kind of used to it all.
We are. But I wasn't as long-winded as I thought, but I just thought I'd share that.
That is, I forgot about that now.
Yeah,
it?
it's kind of interesting because that's kind of how the housing all came about. It's me thinking that we were going
When you're talking about your mom and the houses, she told me this weekend how crazy it is, how you change and evolve, and how when we built this house, we wanted a 2-story, we wanted a high ceilings, we wanted a loft, we wanted wraparound porches. Now we want one story. We don't care. We don't want wraparound porches, and we want a very, very minimum.
Amount of stairs.
Yeah, and a very minimum space.
And that was 17 years. And while that is 17 years, it's a few years.
Yeah.
But it's not that long when you think about it.
No.
How much we've changed.
I
mean, we were adamant about what we wanted when we built this house. And the number one thing was a wraparound porch.
Yes, wraparound porch.
And we got it.
Yeah, we got it.
We don't want a second one. But
I mean, we could really, if we wanted to, we could just have a 2-bedroom in an open den kitchen area, and that'd be it.
Well,
easily.
Yeah, because that's all we use.
Easily. The only thing now is that we want a office and podcast room and YouTube room and that kind of thing. So
yeah, but not a bunch of extra unneeded space.
Right.
We're kind of minimalist.
Yep.
We don't want any more than what we need.
Right.
And the older I get, the more I feel like that's more important to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, more isn't necessarily better.
Yep. I agree.
It doesn't help my feelings any to have more. Less is more.
Less
How's
is
that?
more. Yeah, I agree.
That needs to be a shirt. Less is more.
Less is more. That could
How
be
about
a shirt.
that? We need to write that on that list up there.
I got you one right there. See, I put you a pen and pad.
Oh,
right
yeah. Because sometimes we say we're going to put a link to something and we can't remember. So less is more.
Yep.
And what else is it?
Let's see here. When do you think you'll start building, and will we build it ourselves?
Go ahead.
We're really worried about the price of lumber right now, and from everything I'm reading, that prices should start falling at the end of this year. So I would say in a year, I get roughly a year, probably a year, and we'll probably get the ball rolling. I'm guessing about a year.
Well, I'm kind of thinking that we will start on animal enclosures.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I think if the price of lumber dropped in July, I think we'd start building in July.
Yeah, I agree.
I may be wrong, but that's just the way I feel about it. I feel like we don't know when the price of lumber is going to drop. Nobody does.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's our biggest holdup. It's a lot of people's holdup right now.
Yeah, it's a lot of people hold up right now.
I just I hate it, for the industry as a whole. That
and I had a lot of people ask, why is lumber so high? Did we know why was lumber so high? And pretty much in a nutshell was COVID was the main thing. You had COVID. We get a lot of our lumber from Canada. COVID hit. All these mills shut down for a period of time. And I think the ones in Canada shut down longer than the ones in U.S. did. Then you had the huge hurricane outbreak on the coastline and just destroyed so much property there. And then there was a boom in this market of building houses. So all of that, so you had high demand and you had no supply or limited supply. And that's common
what happens.
Economics. Yeah. And that's what's happened. And so now
we need those things to equal back out.
Well, the demand's still there, and they're slowly opening up the mills and getting the production going. So
supply has got to meet that demand for things to come back to a happy medium. And so it's going to happen. It's not going to stay like this forever. And I hope it's sooner than later. Because
it can't stay like this forever, because people will just, at some point, and it's already happening now. Only reason why houses were getting built, because those people were already set. They already had a price. They were either in the middle of their house or fixing to start the house.
There's people
whatever,
that are building now, just biting the bullet and paying the price for lumber.
Yeah, but it's going to be, you're going to have a lot of people say, I'm not built, because it's going to cost you a lot of money, because when a sheet of plywood that you wrap your house in used to be $10 and it's $49 now, there's going to be a lot of people saying that we can't build.
I was thinking about all these tornadoes that have hit. I mean, they hit in more places than Alabama, but just because we're in Alabama, we've seen the devastation firsthand. Right. These people have nowhere to live.
Yeah.
They've got to build.
We saw one today that their house was completely leveled, and they have got them a camper sitting there now. Big old nice camper.
You could see their slab.
Yeah.
You could literally see their slab. There's nothing left whatsoever.
Yep. And I'm thinking about insurance companies too, because if that house is gone and a year ago or a year and a half ago, you could build that house for $250,000. The house is going to cost you about $450,000.
Yeah, but the
if
insurance
not more.
company's not responsible for that.
Right,
That's the homeowner
inflation,
that's going to pay for
so,
it.
anyways, it's going to come down because it can't sustain this. That people will just stop altogether, and then the lumber business would crash. So it's going to get caught up. It'll just slow down, and then the demand or the supply will start building itself back up, and then the prices will come down. So will we do it ourselves? We will do a lot of it ourselves. We will pay somebody to get it in the dry. So they'll have it completely dried in for us, which means the structure will be there, but the inside will be nothing in there pretty much, and we'll go from there.
And I'm not against, I know some people advise against this, but I'm not against living in something different while we're finishing it out.
Yeah. That's
You know,
right.
we may, if we get the animals enclosure ready and we get my mom's place ready, then we may move on over there and live in a camper or
Right.
live in, not our little camper. That's not sustainable
Right.
for long-term use, but our Airstream, maybe we'll have it ready.
Yeah.
Who knows? I mean,
Yeah.
long time down the road, but we're
Yes.
not against moving over there before everything's finished.
That's right. Absolutely.
I think we
Absolutely.
answered a lot of questions, and
I think so too.
I'm ready for a new week.
I know it.
Not that this one was bad. I don't mean that. It's just time gets away from us, and
Ready for a new week. Yes. Hopefully no crazy rain and we can get dried out so I can get the garden planted.
so I can run my tractor some more. We didn't even talk about the videos from this last week, but
No.
y'all keep the questions coming.
Keep them coming.
Marycarl's already got in her mind what she wants to talk about on the next podcast.
Oh, does she?
She does.
Okay.
She has a few things she wants to talk about. So y'all look forward to Marycarl next time, and
Y'all be good.
y'all be good.
Hey guys, thanks for watching the podcast. I hope you like these podcasts. And if you have not seen our main channel, our vlogging channel, check it out right over here. And I put a couple of videos over here that I think you may like. Y'all be good.